As he walked into the specialist clinic, Peter was greeted by a volunteer who gave him directions to the waiting room for his specialist. He thanked her and said, "I have my advanced care plan with me. How do I make sure the specialist knows about it?" The volunteer replied, "Oh, that's great. When you check in at the clinic, you can give it to the clerk. Ask them to scan it into your chart and give you back your copy. The nurse and the doctor will both be sure to talk with you about it." When Peter checked in with the clerk, she asked if he had any documentation about his wishes for health care. Peter happily handed over his advanced care plan. The clerk scanned his paper into the chart and gave it back to him. She also mentioned that in the future, if he changed his mind, there was a librarian upstairs who could direct him to resources to help him with planning, and also a counselor who would be willing to meet with him and his family to talk things through. When Peter was in the clinic room, a nurse who had just graduated came in, sat down, and asked Peter questions about his understanding of his illness, his goals, his values, and his wishes for care. Peter was so glad he had considered these things before the appointment, and he felt heard and understood by the conversation. When the specialist came in, the three of them sat down together. The nurse shared what Peter had told her, and then left the room saying, "I'll be sure your document is in the right place in your chart, and I will make a note about our conversation, so the whole care team is on the same page." Peter was glad to hear his plans would be in his chart, and he knew he couldn't expect to have the same nurse next time, so was glad that the whole team would know about it. The specialist then sat with Peter and shared his understanding of his illness and confirmed what Peter's goals were. Together, they created a care plan that would hopefully allow Peter to check off some items from his bucket list while still having a good quality of life. On his way out of the clinic, the clerk met with Peter to book a follow-up phone call with a nurse a week later, so she could ask if he had any more questions or wanted to talk through his goals and wishes with them.